everybody, how are you? I'm Chris, this is video. It's nice to see you today. I thought we'd start today's show off with some conversation about the Packers running backs because we're about to have an interesting situation. Now, I don't think it was ever going to be smooth sailing against the Bears in week 1, especially the Vikings in week 2, but I don't know that we thought it would be this bad. And Jamal Williams really has not taken that job, and Aaron Jones returns from suspension. So, rather than speculate about what coaches say, rather than look at box scores, I thought we would break down some film, because that's kind of what I do here, and maybe get some insight about what we might expect going forward for that Packer backfield. This is from the first quarter against the Vikings. I'm not going to say Williams did nothing good in these 2 weeks, but this one stood out to me as an example of how heavy-footed he tends to be. It's a little catch in the flat, sort of stutters his feet a little bit and decides to cut outside, and nearly kneecaps himself. Very happy he doesn't tear a knee ligament there. That's good news that he gets up uninjured. I don't want to be overly dramatic. Anybody can take a misstep. Anybody can stumble. But it's consistent with Williams as just a guy. Hey, just a quick break to thank BetDSI for sponsoring this channel this week. I play at BetDSI every single week. If you've been thinking about, hey, it would be fun to have a place where I could put down a bet or two on the NFL or the baseball playoffs or anything else that's coming up, I can personally, wholeheartedly recommend BetDSI.com. Plus, if you use the promo code HarrisTube, all one word I think, then you'll get deposit matching up to $500. It's a great place to play. Honestly, I don't even think about it. It just works. They've got a great app that works. Their website is fine. If you've been thinking, man, it's dumb that I can't play games online, BetDSI is there for you. It really is where I play. BetDSI.com, promo code HarrisTube. Okay, getting back into it, this is what we mean when we say, like, a good, not great Jamal Williams carry. From the end zone view, you can see what he sees. 6 men in the box, 6 blockers, inside handoff out of shotgun. Initial design is cutback, so Williams stops to see if there's a zone that allows him to cut back left. He clearly sees it's plugged up if he wants to go left, so he makes a snap decision, the correct one, to push off his left foot and go right, and slide outside into a hole, and then turn north-south. There's absolutely nothing wrong with this. But think about, say, the Joe Mixon film that I showed you earlier in the season. Think about guys who were able to push off hard and get there a beat quicker, and then really accelerate up through the hole. This doesn't really look like that, right? It's fine. This is a 5-yard gain, but it's stopping and starting, and everybody stops and starts when they run. But Williams doesn't really keep his speed up as well when he cuts. Now, there are plenty of plays I can show you where Williams gets 10 or 11 yards, but usually they're pretty wide open. A play like this one, where you can see there's a lane to bounce outside to his left. Clearly, the right side of the offensive line has let number 99 there go unblocked because the run is designed to go left. And the left side of Green Bay's line does a good job stymieing the defense there. But Williams isn't quick enough. Even knowing this play is supposed to go left and maybe bounce it outside, and he can't get there fast enough, and a linebacker slashes through the middle to make the tackle. Even number 99 there gets in on it. Work share for fantasy running backs, very important and necessary, of course. And we should always consider it, but work share can go away when and if the player is just so-so. I'm not positive Aaron Jones is great either, but I can say I think Williams has given him a shot in his return from the suspension, week 3 against Washington. Now, I don't honestly think Jones always gives you the perfect playmaking form either, and obviously this long run against the Saints from last year, once he gets past the first level, congratulations for having a body and not falling down. But if we go back and look at the sort of adjustment that Jones makes in the hole, okay, what I see when he places his right foot in the ground is that cut winds up looking really subtle because he doesn't really need to change speed to make that cut. I don't want to sell you as this some super elite acceleration, but it has my attention. And this is more of what I mean. It's you and Luke Kuechly entering the hole. 2 men will enter, 1 man will leave. Jones has a blocker, so he can sort of press the hole and set up the block and then dig to his right. That's not Jamaal Charles here. It's not really even a single-footed cut that shows crazy quickness. But I like the adjustment, and that step that sees him sort of flash up out of his change of direction, no slowing down. I think simply a more dynamic player than Jamaal Williams. Now, I don't know what Aaron Jones's workload is going to be upon his return. Nobody knows that. We're calling that Category 2 stuff that only the coaches really know. And honestly, maybe I'm talking out of both sides of my mouth, because often you hear me say, oh, watch out for those smaller backs. You can't necessarily trust them week to week. Am I saying we can trust Jones? I don't know if Jones is really a feature back. To my way of thinking, maybe he has a little more strength than these other guys we're looking at, but maybe not. Now, I'm going to show you a Lindsey play later in the week that was pretty terrific and showed some pretty decent strength. To some extent, I don't know, with all of these players we're looking at, maybe it comes down to what else is in the backfield. And what else, when it comes to Austin Ekeler, is Melvin Gordon, who is an excellent player, whereas what else is there for Aaron Jones or Jamal Williams, who I don't necessarily think is an excellent player. So this season is teaching us that in the year where everything is a platoon and everybody's trying to keep all the running backs healthy, we have to be somewhat open-minded about the smaller running backs who might ebb and flow. Jalen Richard week 1, Raiders way down, tons of work. Jalen Richard week 2, Raiders with a lead all day, barely heard from. Aaron Jones, though, I think has a chance to be a little bit more than these guys, and we'll see as soon as week 3. Okay, the other thing I wanted to talk about today and show you is Calvin Ridley's week 2 against Carolina. Now, Julio Jones, target monster. There's never going to be a feature role there for Calvin Ridley. But I think in a deeper league, a sort of a deeper bench type league, I think he's addable now, and I want to have my eye on him going forward because of what I saw in film. So let's look at the film. Play-by-play against Carolina. First quarter, so from the press box, we can see Ridley lined up at the top as the flanker. Very basic read for Matt Ryan. He sees the single high safety standing over Julio Jones's side. So Ryan knows, if you've got the 7-yard out called, if that's the route that Ridley's called to run, easy money. And listen, on plays when Julio's on the other side, this should be there a lot for Ridley. Safeties are going to help toward Julio. If Ridley can prove he can beat man coverage right away in his NFL career, he should get some chances. Very similar look on Ridley's touchdown. He's split end, same formation, just headed the other direction. The Panthers have a 3rd and long on defense, so they're showing blitz and a safety on Julio's side. So it's man-to-man, and what can you say? Ridley wins with talent. He wins with a slant. It's a quick jab step after sort of delaying the first couple steps of his route, and it's real hard to cover receivers when they have their two-way goes available to them, especially when, like Ridley, they run a 4.43 40. I mentioned this one on the podcast. I liked it, and it's not so much the reception from the offensive right side. This is a route combination that sort of creates a natural pick and gets Ridley open on the cross. It's the end of this run. Remember during the pre-draft process when Ridley was weak, he wasn't explosive? Tell number 21 there, Denoris Searcy. That's more about want to on Ridley's part, and want to and physicality and stuff like that, while probably overstated by some of these steakheads in the football industrial complex, certainly matters, and this kind of thing doesn't show up in the box score. Ridley doesn't look like some poodle receiver out there. And playing opposite Julio just is going to have its advantages. Falcons are in 3-by-1 here, so Ridley's isolated on the left side, and the Panthers have a deep center fielder by the time that we're snapping the ball. But who do we think he's in center field for? It's Julio, of course, who clears everything out from the bottom of your screen by running the deep post, opening up the shallow cross, and leaving the field with one fewer defender, relatively vacant, once Ridley starts running with the ball. It's one game. Mohamed Sanu will have one good game. Taylor Gabriel used to have one good game. Ridley clearly needs to string these things together. But I think in a deeper league, he's worth a speculative add, and even in 10 and 12 team leagues where benches are maybe a little shallower, I'm still going to keep an eye on him. The idea being, basically, if you play opposite Julio Jones and you have some real man-beating talent yourself, there should be opportunities. Julio's going to get fed. Julio's going to average 9 or 10 targets a game. It's just going to happen. But we talk about running back situations all the time. This is a very good wide receiver situation for Ridley to be cutting his teeth on. I'm not sure that the rookie is ready to be a man-beater every single week in all situations. But if he is, he's going to have the opportunity to shine. Hey, thank you very much for watching, and I hope you'll subscribe to this channel. We're really enjoying bringing it to you, and we'll break down more film for you tomorrow. Thanks so much for watching. Please, please, please smash that like button, write a comment, tell us who else you'd like to see us review film on, and of course, best of all, please subscribe to our channel and then click that little bell above the subscribe button, and you'll be notified whenever we post a new video.